The Blue Devils. Bert Smith, A.J. Desai, and Eric Lewis on the whistle here at Cameron, and away we go. And Sion James, the transfer from Tulane, who's from Sugar Hill, Georgia, gets us started. Here is the freshman Flagg. The up and under on shoot, and it's 2-0 Duke. And here's a little pressure offered by Jon Scheyer's team. And through the backcourt, here's one of the freshmen. This is Ben Hammond from Fairfax, Virginia, who is of late averaging about 3 assists a ball game and pretty good shooter from behind the line. Headed to the 10-day break for the Hokies.
The Hokies need to hang on to the ball, and they've got to make shots, obviously.
Nigel Poteet, the first offer to the rack, and he is fouled on the play. And it's on Cooper Flagg. It'll be his first foul of the ball game, and that will put Poteet, the grad transfer from Rice, who's from nearby Reidsville, North Carolina, to the free throw line at 71%. We're just underway at Cameron Indoor Stadium. It's great to have you with us with Dan Bonner, West Durham. Game 2 of our ACC Network doubleheader, number 4 Duke and Virginia Tech here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And despite the students being on holiday break, full house on hand as Nigel Poteet ties the ball game with a couple of free throws. Cooper Flagg scored an up and under on the Blue Devils' first possession and then drew a foul. And Poteet knocked down the free throws, and you're all caught up just like that. Proctor on the drive, and too strong. Last touch by Malawach.
Virginia Tech is very good in their man-to-man defense. They do a great job limiting dribble penetration, and Duke really likes to initiate their offense with some screens and some dribble penetration. So you watch Virginia Tech try to force them to the perimeter.
Dan, the Hokies have had a hard time with turnovers, and Duke's sensing a little bit of that, I think, with pressure here too.
Absolutely. You watch Virginia Tech play on tape, and they have struggled with the press in certain games.
Lawal for shoot. Here's the freshman Hammond. Back out front for shoot.
Look where the ball is with under 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Yep. On the drive, this is Tyler Johnson. Had it blocked. Malawach. Sion James in transition. Skips. Knueppel 3-ball. Rimmed off. Poteet the rebound.
Now you won't see Virginia Tech trying to push it up every time. They don't mind getting down the court quickly, but they do not want to get in a track meet with Duke today.
Poteet, high post, Malawach hedging him defensively. Now Hammond back for Jaden, shoots triple. A back rim miss, and Lawal gives the Hokies an offensive chance. And stepped out of bounds as he reverse dribbled back into the paint. And a turnover for the Hokies, and of course Mike Young now in his 6th season at Blacksburg. 97 wins in Blacksburg, 396 in just a marvelous coaching career that dates 23 years. Knueppel, double team there. Flagg, nice quick look, threw it off the glass, trying to get it to Malawach. James the deflection. Proctor tees up a 3. Malawach kept it alive briefly. Johnson collects the rebound for Virginia Tech.
Now Johnson is an outstanding athlete, a big, strong kid playing the guard spot who's a really good rebounder.
Freshman from Orlando is Tyler Johnson. And that ball got knocked away. Shoot had it, lost it. Knueppel with the turnover. Turnover number 2 on the Hokies, and the lob from Malawach. Ill-timed, and last touch by the Hokies. And Jon Scheyer, of course, in his 3rd season has won 76% of his games. Fastest coach in Duke history to 60 wins. And Dan, you and I were talking earlier today. He has done an exceptional job in following the legendary Mike Krzyzewski.
You know, they always say you want to follow the guy who follows the legend, but Jon Scheyer doing a great job on his own.
Reach in foul.
I mean, there's Mike Krzyzewski.
Yep, Coach K's here today. A reach in knock away, no foul call. Good seats too, Coach. Nice. Right down there in the corner.
Well, he's there on the front row, so he couldn't get in these seats if he had to sit in the bleachers somewhere.
3 minutes and change gone in the opening half. Hammond inside, Poteet. Oh, what a collision at the rim. Malowacz rejection. Knueppel thought about it. Oh, Malowacz couldn't hang on. Now the Hokies try to flip the floor. Shoot off the Hammond screen. I thought Ben Hammond might pull the trigger there. Instead, Virginia Tech will settle in. Now, this is one of the things that John Shire was talking about, temperament of the offense by Virginia Tech. Poteet has it rattle out, and here's Duke on the attack. We're still 2-2 and almost 4 minutes in. Blue Devils are 1 of 4. The Hokies 0 for 3, and Knueppel the miss. Rebound Flagg down.
Oh my!
Malowacz off the glass. Maybe slightly out of his character.
Well, a little bit. I mean, all he does is dunk it, but that's his 4th three-point attempt of the year, and he's actually made one.
Yeah. So here's Hammond off the ball screen of Poteet. Inside, feeds Lawal for the dunk. So Tobi Lawal, 58% field goal shooter, averaging almost 11 a game to lead the Hokies, pushes Virginia Tech in front.
He's really good around the goal, but that was a great job by Hammond to draw 2 defenders and leave Lawal alone.
Quick pass, Flagg, the catch, dunk, and foul on Lawal. Cooper Flagg's got all 4 Duke points. Nice look from Sion James. Blue Devils with a chance to take the lead when we come back.
We were just laughing about Malowacz shooting that long 3 in transition. Sometimes maybe your best idea is to throw it inside to Flagg.
Now Cooper Flagg 5, Virginia Tech 4. As we play on here at Cameron. Great to have you with us, and Happy New Year, by the way. Substitution, Rodney Brown Jr., a sophomore transfer from Cal into the Hokie lineup. He wears number 4. Patrick Wessler, he's number 5. And that's Brandon Rechsteiner who draws the foul. Bert Smith tickets Malik Brown with his first. That'll be the second on the Blue Devils. There is Brown, by the way, who up until a tough day against St. Joe's had been averaging about 12 points a game in the previous 2 for Mike Young.
You can really see the Blue Devils are trying to apply a lot of pressure to the ball.
They brought Caleb Foster on the floor with Malik Brown during the timeout. Here's Rechsteiner back for his sophomore campaign in Blacksburg. There's a catch and shoot from Jaden Shoot.
And Virginia Tech is a very dangerous team when they can make threes. You know, we've talked about Mike Young and his great coaching career. This team at Virginia Tech, it is the worst team he's had in terms of assists per game, and it's the worst team he's had in terms of turnovers per game. And so if you're a team that sort of controls the tempo and shoots threes, you can't be giving the ball away.
Look at Knueppel, kick to the corner. Proctor missed the 3. Shoot the rebound for the Hokies. Rechsteiner. Shot fake from Jaden Shoot. How about another one? Spins out, and ultimately Flagg kept it alive.
Oh, what a great job by Flagg. I mean, he could feel himself falling out of bounds, but he waited until a teammate was open and then just handed him the ball.
Missed the 3. Wessler kept it alive for the Hokies.
Now, of all the things that Flagg does well at this point in his career, he's only a 25% three-point shooter.
Rechsteiner with Knueppel defending.
The Hokies really have the floor spread.
10 to shoot. Here's Brown. Jaden Shoot a triple and missed everything. That might have been a little quick in the rotation. So Proctor will check out for the Blue Devils. Mike Young's going to hustle and see if he can't get Jaden Young into the ball game. And the reason he's doing that is you see number 3 in the white right there for the Blue Devils. There is Isaiah Evans, the 6'6" freshman from Fayetteville, who can flat shoot it.
Well, I swear I saw him up in the hallway before the game, and he was getting ready to shoot it. So that's what he does. He comes in the game, and he's ready to let it go.
Here's Flagg alone. Drops it in.
There is such a smooth flow to the game of Connor Flagg. It's just amazing.
Yep. Already all 8 of Duke's points belong to the freshman from Newport, Maine. Here's Brown. And now there's Burnham, who's checked into the lineup. Ben Burnham for the first time for the Hokies. He's a transfer from Charleston, and a foul called, and it's on Cooper Flagg. It'll be his second.
Wow. We talked about how Flagg struggles sometimes shooting the 3, but this time he's going to come up to the top of the key, gets his feet set, gets square to the basket, and knocks it down. Now, as you mentioned, he just picked up his second foul. You don't really need to go for the steal right there. You can get the trap and force the guy to give up the ball. There. Oh.
Saved by Brown, and Burnham somehow collects and then goes baby skyhook for his first point.
Well, Brown was he stole it. He was trying to bounce it off somebody and went right back to the Hokies.
Yeah, Malik Brown's a walking defensive play, Dan.
Oh,
Here's Evans. This is going up. Rattled around. Rebounded inside, and Gillis from in front. The Purdue transfer from Newcastle, Indiana, Mason Gillis, pushes Duke back in front. Game starting to feel a little bit more like the Blue Devils flavor tempo-wise, I think, with almost 8 minutes gone first half. Jaden Young, a 3. Caleb Foster, the rebound. Brown for Sion James. Now Evans off the top, skip into the corner. Foster, here's James. Back for Isaiah Evans. Nope. And boy, nicely done. The Hokies got Rodney Brown to keep it alive.
This game is being played with tremendous intensity on both ends. The Hokies, I mean, here again, they're 40 feet from the basket, and the clock is under 10 seconds.
Rodney Brown now against Malik Brown. Spot up 3. Got it.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. What do I know?
Yeah. Stay up top there, Bonner. I got my 7-3.
Wow. Wow.
Rodney Brown on the board with his 7th triple of the year, and Virginia Tech a 2-point advantage. Malik Brown, Sion James baseline.
I do not know that there is a more valuable 3-point per game scorer in all of college basketball than Malik Brown.
Yeah.
He really sees the court. He passes the ball well. He's everywhere defensively.
Mike Young called him a master deflector today. There's a soft runner for the basket. Rodney Brown warming up. He's got 5 in a row.
Brown has really started to come on. He had some setbacks injury-wise in the preseason before, in practice, preseason practice, and that set him back. But he has kept fighting, and he is gradually now making big contributions to the Hokies.
Oh, it sure is.
I mean, he's 6'6". He weighs 185 pounds.
Evans, 5 to shoot. Caleb Foster on the initiative. Baseline. Missed everything. Cleaned up Gillis again. He's fouled by Wessler as the shot clock went off. So Patrick Wessler draws his first. That's the second on the Hokies. We're going to go to a timeout just ahead of 10 minutes to play in this first half. Virginia Tech by 2 in Durham.
Previous play is under review to see whether the shot occurred before the foul occurred before the expiration of time. The call on the floor has been confirmed. Foul on Virginia Tech number 5. Duke will shoot 2 free throws when we resume play.
Mike Krzyzewski, the head coach after Bill Foster. The head coach before Bill Foster, Bucky Waters. Now, Neil McGahee was an interim for 1 year, 1973-74, but Bucky Waters.
Bucky, one of the great personalities in the history of the ACC.
Yep.
For years was an analyst on ACC, the Jefferson Pilot package. The only question I have about Bucky was his ability to evaluate talent, because he actually recruited me.
Well, then we do have questions. 4 points for Gillis after the free throws. Malawach after the Brown miss couldn't squeeze the trigger. Hokies and Blue Devils tied. Here's Poteet. Oh, he left it. Lawal the hammer. To no surprise, Tobi Lawal's got 2 field goals, both on dunks.
And it's also not a surprise with Elijah Poteet. That's his 16th assist on the season. For a big guy, he passes the ball pretty well.
Here's James from the corner. 3. And last touch by the Blue Devils.
The Blue Devils now 1 for 10 from beyond the arc. Hammond does a great job maintaining his pivot foot, and the Duke defense just a little slow getting back.
Yep.
Malawach, you can see him in the background running up the court, and that's the reason they had that wide open opportunity inside.
6'11" freshman Patrick Gungba has checked in from Manassas, Virginia, averaging about 11 minutes a ball game for Coach Shire. He wears jersey number 21. Proctor has returned with Knueppel in the Duke lineup, so Gillis and James round out the 5 on the floor for John Shire. Hammond weaving through traffic up off the glass and got his own rebound.
And this is a very good offensive rebounding team in Virginia Tech, although Hammond isn't one of their top offensive rebounders.
Yep. Brown, Poteet, Young, Lawal, who's got it in the corner. Working against Gillis. Double team coming. Hammond thought about it and almost turned it over. Here's Lawal, and a foul called on Tobi Lawal. There's a shove out there to chase the loose ball. Second on Lawal. Third on Virginia Tech comes with 8:26 to go in the first half.
Duke has struggled on the offensive end, but their defense has so far been very disruptive for the Hokies.
Yep.
It's the Hokies defense that's keeping them in the game. We talked about the fact they wanted to cut off the middle and force Duke to shoot threes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happened.
Neither team has shot the ball very well. Duke is at 31%. And Virginia Tech at 40%. They've hit 1 more field goal. There's a long miss by the Blue Devils. Proctor now off the reset. Flagg with the 2 fouls for 3 and 1. For Flagg and a shot at the rear 4-point play.
This is one of those situations where if you're Poteet, you go out there and you put your hand up, but you don't jump into him. That you see that play all the time. Go to one side or the other, or stop before you get there. But if you jump toward the shooter, you're almost always going to run into him before he comes back down on the court, and that's a foul.
So here is Flagg. You see 4 of 5 from the floor for the 11. 2 threes in the bucket as well. Rest of the team 2 of 13 for 6 points. And Cooper to the line after the foul on Poteet. And the free throw good. A dozen of Duke's 16, or 18 rather. And back to a 2-point lead on the 4-point trip. Hammond working against James. Good job by Gungba to help out on the trap. And last touch by Hammond. Ben Hammond. Dan, the list is long and distinguished of young guards that have come in this building and dribbled right into a trap. And a turnover ensued. Duke will have it when we come back. Paul, the 6th program in Northern Virginia. Oh boy, Dan, happens to every young guard, doesn't it?
Well, it's a great play by Proctor because Hammond dribbled out of one double team and he dribbled right into another one because Proctor jumped off his man and got him.
John Shire, of course, loves it at the Duke bench. And Mike Young knows the turnover problems the Hokies have had. And last couple of years, Dan, probably a little heavier than he anticipated, I think.
Well, this year in particular, I mean, his team does a great job hanging on to the basketball. They do a great job passing the basketball, and those two areas have been points of weakness at times for his team this year, so they're still trying to work on that.
And Duke is one of the best defensive teams in the country. Flagg a fall away, and another one for Cooper Flagg, largest lead for the Blue Devils. And Flagg now with 14. He is 5 for 6 on the floor, 2 of 3 from behind the line. And thrown away by Poteet, and there's an unforced error.
Just as we're talking about turnovers, there we see turnover number 5. And as I say, they've actually done a really good job so far today hanging on to the ball, but they've turned it over 2 consecutive times.
You see the number nationally, 324. There goes Proctor on the drive, and a foul will be called. I think this is on Poteet, and that'll be 2 on Maligel Poteet, 5 on Virginia Tech. Just ahead of 7 minutes to go in this first half.
And that's a great job by Proctor, Wes, to pass up the 3. Duke has been shooting a lot of them in transition, and he passed it up, and he drove it right to the basket.
Yep. Proctor at the line. And the first one is good. Now, I want to tell you, a week from Saturday, we got a heavy lineup for you on ACC Network. Florida State at Clemson at 2 o'clock, presented by Food Line. Dan and I will be in Raleigh at the Lenovo Center for the Tar Heels and the Wolfpack. And then late night, so to speak, actually 3 o'clock Pacific time, 6 Eastern, the Hokies and the Golden Bears from Haas Pavilion in Berkeley. And we're going to get to see Mark Madsen's Golden Bears next Saturday night at Clemson. Dan and I are looking forward to seeing Cal in some of their early play. Of course, they played just 1 conference game so far. Tomorrow they're at Pitt. 22-16 in the corner. Johnson now with 8 to shoot. Thought about it, bumps it down. Burnham the catch, score. Nicely done. Ben Burnham's second field goal.
That was great patience by Johnson. And Burnham bails him out because Burnham kept moving.
Yep. 4-point lead for the Blue Devils. Gungba out front against Wessler. Here's Flagg on the catch. Knueppel straight away. First points for the Milwaukee rookie Con Knueppel.
Now, if they're going to do that, what are you supposed to do? You try to bring another guy to Flagg, and he kicks it out, and Knueppel shoots a 3.
Yep. Thus 3.5 assists a game, too, for Cooper Flagg, Dan. Fall-away Johnson. Flagg a rebound.
Well, the 2 leading assist guys on this team are Flagg and Knueppel.
Yeah. There's a lob. Gungba couldn't handle it on the attempt from James. So here's what you're talking about, right? They run another guy down there. And there's the kick out. You saw Shoot come over. What happened? Knueppel, Rechsteiner rotating. Got to get there, right?
Well, Shoot had to drop down inside because Wexler left his guy, Gungba, inside. And so Shoot had to rotate over so they didn't dump it down. And that left Knueppel all alone. Like I say, what are you supposed to do?
Ask for a 6-guy waiver, right? Lead is 7 under 6 to go. And the Blue Devils offer some backcourt pressure here. And this is Brown, who gave them some nice minutes in an earlier sequence of the half.
It really helped them with their ball handling.
Rechsteiner, Brown, Wessler, and Jaden Young with Burnham.
They just can't get into any of their offensive stuff early enough in the shot clock to force pressure on the Duke defense.
8 to shoot. Here's Rodney Brown. Rechsteiner, 3-ball too strong. Knueppel the rebound.
Now, if you're Mike Young, you'll take that shot every time.
Knueppel back for Evans. Strong with the 3. Brown kept it alive. Flagg in the corner. Evans tees up another one. Sure. Showtime Slim has got a triple. The lead, its largest for the Blue Devils. 28-18. Ten-point lead for number 4 Duke here, just ahead of 5 minutes to go, and Cooper Flagg leaves the Blue Devils in scoring, and Danny's pretty good distributing.
Well, look at that. I mean, he's got 14 points in the game. He's all alone, and yet he throws the ball down to the corner, passes up a shot. I'm not sure it was a better one, but it's a really good 3-point shooter letting it go. That is really an unselfish play.
Isaiah Evans, 23rd 3 of the year. For the freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina, who went to North Mac last year in the Charlotte area. Averaged 28 points a game and had 62 in the state playoffs to break Chris Paul's state record for points in a game.
Wow.
And Brown, the master deflector. It's exactly what Mike Young was talking about, his ability to deflect the ball. Not necessarily steal it, but put the ball back in play for somebody.
But when you deflect the ball, it disrupts the offense.
Backcourt pressure, and here's Rechsteiner. Brandon averaging just less than 8 a ball game in his sophomore campaign. Burnham the catch and fires for 3. Wessler had it. Evans ripped it away. Here goes Proctor. Knueppel, 3 away. Nope, front rim miss, and Brown collects.
Didn't really have his feet set.
Rodney Brown, a little hesitation, and Proctor will be ticketed for his first. That'll be the 4th on the Blue Devils.
Duke's defensive pressure against the ball has been really good. That last time down the court, there was a switch, and Wexler was mismatched inside against Proctor, but the Hokies could never find it.
Yeah. Flagg out, Mason Gillis in. Invariably, the conversation as more people watch the Blue Devils play in conference play, Dan, is going to be about where does this Duke team defensively fall in. Now, we got a long way to go before the story's finished, right? Or even maybe we start a new chapter. But I'd say they're off to a really good start at that end of the floor.
I was impressed with the way John Shire was talking to us today, how he said, yeah, I know that our stats and numbers are really good, but I think we get a lot better defensively. That is a scary idea.
Yeah. Because the one thing that is going to happen, and you can see it happen in sequences here in this first half, is where they are offensively. There's a kick, and Burnham left for 3. And Caleb Foster gathers the rebound.
Well, now, that's the kind of a shot that Virginia Tech wants.
Gillis will try and hit. 9th 3 of the year for Mason. Mason Gillis. He's got 7 off the bench.
And he has started very slowly from 3 this year as well. He and Foster both, and you know they're going to get better as the season goes on.
And we get a foul out in the midcourt area. Another look at the exchange that Duke's into the floor.
Duke gets down the court very quickly, and that's not a fast break, but that's in transition. When you're getting back, you're trying to defend the basket. Your opponent, in this case Proctor, makes a cross-court pass, and you just can't get close enough to Gillis to even put any pressure on him.
Nice pass inside. Wessler and one. Nice delivery of the ball by Rodney Brown. Patrick Wessler, the field goal. He'll shoot a free throw. And the Blue Devils posting this 13-point lead. Virginia Tech, 5 turnovers, Dan, but Duke's got 8 points off the 5 as you see Flagg to the bench, and Patrick Wessler will shoot free throws after the foul a moment ago on Mason Gillis. 3-point free throw left on the rim.
There, Virginia Tech trying to apply a little bit of pressure.
They've got Brown, Burnham, Hammond, Jaden Young, and Wessler on the floor, and there's a 3 that rimmed away for Tyrese Proctor.
Now 48% on the season of Duke's field goal attempts are 3s, so they don't mind shooting the 3.
Foul is going to be on Common Malawach. That'll be his first. 6 now on the Blue Devils.
And I think that's
Or 7. That's 7. I'm sorry, Dan. Free throws.
I think it's an indication of the kind of pressure Duke is trying to put on the ball. Normally you want, well, even now, you're trying to put pressure on. You don't want your center out there beyond the top of the key picking up a cheap one.
Yep, first points for Wessler.
Wessler showed you he's got pretty good hands inside. He can score close to the goal.
Second one is also good. By the way, he only played in a half dozen ACC games a year ago. 13 games overall, about 4 minutes a game. So he's essentially a freshman, right, in terms of game experience. Malawach could not hang on to the lob.
That's a couple of times now, Wes. We've seen him not be able to hang on to that ball.
There goes Young, feeds Wessler again. Try to burrow under against Malawach. Hokies skip it to the perimeter for Young. Brown off the screen. Nice pass back for Wessler. Couldn't finish. Got his own rebound. Hammond a step in too. Got it. Ben Hammond's first bucket.
That's a nice shot by Hammond, but the whole thing is created by Wessler and his battling inside.
Yep. 7-point lead for the Blue Devils. Inside 3 to go. Flagg, Knueppel, and James come back to the scorer's table to check in for the Blue Devils on the next dead ball. Gillis couldn't handle the bounce pass from Foster. It might have been a little low and away. Turned over by Duke.
No matter who you are, when you're coming into this building, what you want to do is you want to at least stay within striking distance. And that's exactly what Virginia Tech has done. They have forced Duke into some very poor shooting, and they haven't shot the ball well either, but they have really withstood a lot of the Duke defensive pressure. Only 5 turnovers, as you said, and that's less than half of what they have on the season.
Duke just committed their 6th, Dan. And here's Hammond. Jaden Schutz come back on the floor for the Hokies. He'll work against Knueppel.
Duke makes it really difficult for you because they switch everything.
Yep. Brown, nice. All the way down, took the contact, couldn't finish it. And now Brown's going to commit a foul trying to compete with Proctor. That'll be the first on Rodney Brown Jr. from Paris, California, who started his college career at Cal and then decided to get in the transfer portal. There's some portals that are different than others. The 2,300-mile portal is one that I'm curious about. He went from Berkeley, or actually Paris, California to Blacksburg, Virginia is 2,300 miles.
But he stayed in the ACC.
Yes. Thank you. I knew I could set up my man tonight for that. On the drive, James lost it last touch. A.J. Desai says it belongs to Virginia Tech. Bert Smith going to help, and it'll stay with the Blue Devils.
Well, I think Burnham was standing out of bounds when the ball hit him. I'm not sure that Burnham was able to get out of the way, but it looked like Wessler was the guy who touched it last anyway.
And they will put the ball in play on the baseline with Sion James. Flagg against Burnham. All the way in. Scoop. Can't finish. Second miss of the day for Flagg.
That was a tough shot.
Yep. 5 to shoot. Proctor dancing. Gets all the way to the basket. Wow. Four for Proctor. How about that?
Just when you think you've got him contained, there he goes.
Yep. First field goal. He'd hit 2 free throws earlier in the frame. Lead 9. Feels like a pretty big 75 seconds here for the Hokies. Brown off his foot. Nope. Guess not, because it stays with the Hokies. 2 to shoot and foul thrown away. With 1 on the shot clock. 6th turnover on Virginia Tech. And here's a look at the Proctor drive.
Well, he just goes right by Wessler reaches out and sort of gets in the Rechsteiner's way, and there's no help there.
Yep. 9-point lead. Tried to go to Flagg. Knueppel recovered his own throwaway. James. Proctor a 3. James the rebound and the stick back. Second chance points for Sion James.
How many times have we seen it in this building, Wes?
Yep.
A team is hanging in there with Duke, and then the last 2 or 3 minutes of the half, Duke goes on one of their patented runs.
15 second chance points by the Blue Devils in this first half of their 35. Big second differential here, Dan.
Too much dribbling.
Yep. Brown. Here's Burnham. Thought about it. 1 to shoot. 3 ball. Got it. Over the top of Knueppel. Ben Burnham's got 7.
That is a big basket.
And it's an 8-point game and a timeout taken here by the Blue Devils. So we'll step aside for a half minute. And
wow, he is a very good scorer, Wes. 2 years ago at the College of Charleston, he was one of the leading scorers in the country coming off the bench. He was an all-freshman team in the CAA.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good player.
Yep. A year ago, averaged 12 points and hit 37% from 3. He had 12 games in another Cougars championship, by the way, in the CAA. He had 12 games of 15 or more playing for Pat Kelsey. And he's getting his sea legs here in his second ACC game, it feels like. Knueppel on the final play of the half at the foul line. Got it. 5 for Knueppel. Game to go with 8 rebounds. Now, Common did do a pretty good job. He had a couple of rebounds as the Hokies start the ball at their end of the floor here at the beginning of the half. And here is Shoot, the Duke transfer, and Maligel Poteet missed the bunny. Knueppel the rebound.
I actually thought it hurt Virginia Tech in the first half when Poteet had to go to the bench with foul trouble.
Right. And Sion James, I think, is going to need a little attention from the veteran Duke basketball trainer Jose Fonseca. I think he maybe took one near the nose. So we'll see what we have here.
Shoot just backs into him.
Wow.
Shoot didn't even know he was there.
That's incidental contact. Will play on.
Well, it's certainly not a foul.
No, it's not a foul, but the contact was.
But they're going to give him time to stop bleeding.
Yep. He had a good cut man down there. Jose Fonseca has been here 20 seasons with this program. And umpire Eric Lewis.
Well, the rule is that your bleeding has to stop before you can go back in the game.
Nothing further on the play.
And we get the confirmation from Bert Smith. He's our referee.
Now, you can have blood on your uniform. It only has to be determined whether your uniform is saturated. And you know who makes that decision? Your own trainer.
Okay.
So if it's like a bad player, then absolutely the uniform is saturated. But if it's one of your good guys, then it never gets saturated.
Here's Flagg. I have a question as a follow-up, sir.
Okay. All right.
Here's Flagg on the drive. Oh, Proctor, nice move, and the lob. It can get Malawach again. How many times have they tried the lob for the big fella from the Sudan?
Well, that time he didn't get his hands on it. The other couple times he's gotten his hands on it and hadn't been able to hold it.
By the way, do you tell us the saturated story only to confirm that if it had ever happened in your career, your uniform would have been saturated, and therefore you couldn't play anymore?
There's no question.
Okay,
but
good.
All you got to do is watch some of those old highlights of people like Tyler Hansbrough when there wasn't a blood rule.
Yep, good point. Lawal the rebound. Duke the miss. Still a 10-point lead for the Blue Devils. Going to be interesting to watch the freshman Hammond here in the second half, Dan. It's an ACC game, your first road game, right?
Well, the interesting thing, Wes, you're still in the game.
Yeah.
You've given up all those second chance points. You've given up those points off turnovers, but you are still in this game.
Lawal can't finish.
And he just hadn't had any luck at all tonight.
Nope. Guys in white have something to do with that, too. Here's Knueppel out of the corner. Hammond, the carom. Poteet now for shoot against Knueppel.
He'd like to get shoot coming off a screen to give him a chance to catch it and let it go.
Yep.
He's not going to beat anybody off the dribble and create a three.
Hammond, baseline, tried to scoop it up, and oh my, but that was ripped away. Tyler Johnson with Sion James. And they're going to call a foul on Johnson, the freshman from Orlando. It'll be his first of the half on the Hokies here.
Well, I guess, you take a look at Sion James, and James ends up on the floor. You figure, well, nobody can do that. Well, he did. He, one hand had the ball, the other hand had him by the neck.
Yeah.
That might be a foul.
Foul on Johnson, and off the foot of the aforementioned Johnson. Duke comes into the game. They are 9th in the ACC in scoring offense at 79 a game. They are #1 in the ACC scoring defensively at 58.5 points a game. There's a drive and bucket for James.
Poteet let that one go because he didn't want to pick up his third foul.
Sure.
And again, I think Virginia Tech's initial defense has been good enough, but now you got to get down on this end. You got to get some better shots, and you got to convert.
Skip from Hammond. Lawal a three. And Malawach tried to keep it alive and almost ended up in the front row over there.
Now Lawal can shoot it from out there, but he's best around the basket. But here's James just driving the ball to the basket, and you can see Poteet step away because he doesn't want to pick up that third personal foul.
I'll tell you this about Sion James. He is listed at 6'6", 220 pounds. A grad transfer from Tulane. And I've heard a lot of descriptions about the way he plays the game. There's a ball fired right inside for Poteet. The one that Mike Young gave us this morning might be the best I've heard so far, when Mike Young goes, he's a tank. And Proctor off the miss. Here's Flagg now. Oh my, catch. Nice dribble, back in, layup, good. They're talking a lot of things about Cooper Flagg. One thing that does not get discussed as much when you see him in person is how good his footwork is as a basketball player.
The Virginia Tech bench objected to that footwear. Everybody was over there calling for a walk.
They've got an extra step. And Knueppel almost with a terrific take on the lob for Poteet. Count them off here for me, Dan. Let's see.
Well, where's your pivot foot?
Okay.
Right. I don't know that he ever moved that pivot foot. I think that was good.
Yeah.
Just because it looks like a walk doesn't mean it is. And the officials, what they're trained to do is, unless they're 100% sure, they don't blow the whistle.
Yeah. Hammond for Johnson. He'll back down on Knueppel, and I think this is going to be on Knueppel. It is. That'll be his first of the half on the Blue Devils.
That sequence right there was sort of the Virginia Tech offensive game in capsule. They're doing a lot of dribbling because Duke is forcing them. And this is a team that passes and moves the ball. And if you can get that kind of a team to do more dribbling than they want to do, then that helps you. But Virginia Tech just can't get inside.
How about the steal? Malawach to Flagg to James for the dunk.
Hard to throw it in over Malawach.
And there's a lob. Lawal had it knocked away by Malawach. And a three out of the corner. There's Lawal.
And that's a big basket. Now can Virginia Tech string a couple of stops and scores together?
So Tobi Lawal's got his 7th three of the year and his 3rd field goal. Knueppel on the drive, fell off the rim. Proctor back down the lane for the hammer. Woo! .5 lead now for the Blue Devils. And no more emphatic basket in this ball game than this one right here. Tyrese. They ought to give you more than 2, my man. They really should. January, by the way. We're hours away from January 1. Tyrese Proctor helping us get started, by the way.
Okay, all right. How about this? Well, Wes, and once again, we talked about it at the break. Virginia Tech stopped them the first time, but an offensive rebound, and then the Hokies could not get organized defensively again. And a dunk like that can be just demoralizing.
It juiced the building for sure. And now with the lead, Brown on the floor for the first time in the second half. He wears jersey number 4 for the Hokies, the Cal transfer. With Lawal, shoot, Patrick Wessler's there, and here's Rechsteiner for 3. And Lawal inside, couldn't get the second chance, but does draw the foul.
I mean, Malawach is such a presence in there.
Yep. It's his second foul, second on the Blue Devils.
He committed the foul, but you get the ball down inside, and you have to deal with him. Are you kidding?
Tobi Lawal is 6'8", 218-pound junior transfer. Played at VCU. Did not play basketball until he was 16 years old. He was a soccer player in his native London. And he misses the front. Don't forget women's basketball on ACC Network every Thursday. It starts this week, a doubleheader, 6 o'clock Eastern. Virginia Tech hosts Florida State, Blacksburg, and then Stanford, SMU, and Dallas at 8 o'clock on ACC Network. Back into the 2 for Lawal.
Well, Lawal he does a great job getting to the basket in screen and roll situations, but Duke has totally cut that off today.
14-point lead for the Blue Devils. Blue Devils have the original starters out there for Coach Shock. Flagg might have been deflected on the way to Cooper. Here's Brown, and look at Lawal fly to the basket. Tobi Lawal 6.5, now double figures in the ball game.
Well, he's really athletic. He's noted for his work ethic, and he certainly is a run and jump kind of guy.
Yep. 12-point Duke lead. Proctor. Rechsteiner trying to stay in front. Here goes Flagg down the lane, and he's going to draw the foul. Wessler draws his second on the Hokies. Here you go, Dan.
Right. Virginia Tech has had very few opportunities in transition, and you want a guy to finish in transition, I pick him.
Yeah.
And Flagg is going to go back to the free throw line, and he is so good taking the ball to the basket.
Yep.
And everybody tries to get out and, take his shot away. And as he said, he's shot the 3 pretty well today, but coming into the game, he's only 25%. But boy, you get too close, and he goes right around.
It's interesting. Our friend Joe Giglio, who of course is in the media here, we used to work at the News and Observer, now host a very popular podcast with Joe Ovius, said back in the fall, if you're thinking Zion, you're thinking the wrong thing, because this guy hits all the marks, Dan. I mean, he comes into the game today leading his team in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks.
And number 2 in steals.
Right. Behind maybe the best individual defensive player over 6'6" in the country, right?
I agree. That's Malik Brown you're talking about.
Or maybe the best 6'9" defensive player in terms of steals and Brown. Flagg was 17 now, by the way. 4 to shoot. Rechsteiner in trouble. Fall away on Knueppel, and it goes. First points for sophomore Brandon Rechsteiner.
And if you got to work that hard to get every basket, you're not going to score very many. That was outstanding defense.
Knueppel. Here's Flagg working with 18. Proctor takes off baseline. Hand check foul will be on Jaden Young. First on Young, third on the Hokies. Another look at the work of Brandon Rechsteiner.
This is an unbelievably difficult shot. I mean, you can't defend a guy any better than Knueppel just did.
Foster in the ball game. He'll put it in play for Proctor.
You know, Proctor's a guy for this Duke team who's had a great year so far. Nobody's talking about it.
Malik Brown's first points. Yeah, Proctor's second best three-point shooter in the league coming into the ball game at 42%.
Well, and he's the point of that defense.
There's Lawal again. He rolls in a three.
Well, Wes, it's still only an 11-point game, and you're still in a situation where you can get a couple of stops and a couple of scores, and then suddenly it becomes very interesting.
Yep. So Tobi Lawal trying to add to it. And that ball got knocked over the inline out of bounds.
Well, I don't think anybody knocked it. I think that Brown just sailed it.
There's a look. Lawal out of the corner gives him 13. He had 16 in his ACC debut against Pittsburgh. Did this 6'8" junior transfer from London.
Well, you mentioned he came into this game, Wes, only having made 6 threes on the season, shooting a very respectable 35%. And that's a nice job penetrating by Rechsteiner. Rechsteiner sometimes gets himself in trouble with a little bit of over-penetration, but that was the perfect amount right there.
Here's Brown with Young. Here's Burnham, who led him in scoring at halftime. Back for Lawal, and he scores.
Wow, that's where Lawal was almost impossible to guard. You know, Malawach is in there, can frighten him, but nobody else in the game for Duke can.
Yep. Back to a 9-point Duke advantage. Tobi Lawal carrying the Hokies here 5 straight. No look inside for Brown. Skip out. Evans is returned. He'll skip for Proctor's three. 9 for Tyrese Proctor, and like that, it's back to double figures. First assist for Evans this year.
Well, Evans isn't in the game to get assists.
I knew that was coming. Here's Brown at 16 feet. And Malik Brown, the rebound of a Rodney Brown miss. Flagg against Burnham. Evans out of the corner.
That's why he's in the game.
Yep. Half dozen now for the freshman. Lead is 15 now. 6 straight for the Blue Devils in the last half minute. Burnham. And he rolls it in. 9 now for Ben Burnham.
We were talking about how well Lawal does that screen and roll, and he actually was open on the screen and roll that time, but Malik Brown so covered up Rechsteiner that he never saw him, and so it took a tremendous effort by Burnham to get the 2 points.
Flagg working against Burnham. Takes him on the dribble with the left hand and scores. 20 now for Cooper Flagg and a timeout. Duke lead is 15. We're almost 9 minutes into the second half, and a moment ago, Isaiah Evans out of the corner. And then Cooper Flagg all the way to the rack here at Cameron. A 20 or more this year. Dan here this afternoon.
Well, and he does it in a variety of ways. He can get his back to play with his back to the basket. He can shoot the three. He can hit the pull-up jumper, and he can drive the ball all the way to the goal. Flagg just has everything I think you want in an offensive player.
7 of 10 from the floor, couple of rebounds. He's got 4 assists, and the lead 15 for the Blue Devils. All that, and he had 2 fouls in the first 7 minutes.
Absolutely. Well, he just knows how to play the game. You know, if you're a very valuable player, you got to get in the game and you got to play in foul trouble, and you have to figure out how to do it, and he does it really well.
Caleb Foster and Malik Brown knock it away. Hammond runs it down. 12 on the shot clock. Now shoot. Here's Brown. Down low, Poteet squares up on Malik Brown. Rolls over the right shoulder and scores with the left hand. Elijah Poteet's first field goal of the game with 10:37 to play.
And that's the Hokies' second leading scorer. He's just been taken out of the game by foul trouble and Malawach.
Yep.
And the pressure Duke has been able to put on the ball. If the guards can't see to throw it inside, it's hard for Poteet.
Quick spin and score for Flagg.
And again, we just talked about it. He's so versatile. That time back to the basket, real quickness. Didn't overpower anybody in there, but it was just so quick you couldn't get to him.
22 now for Cooper Flagg. There's Jaden Shute missing on a 3. Coming up on the 10-minute mark in this second half. Duke winners of 6 straight. Lob, Brown the catch, and it fell off the rim for Malik Brown.
I swear to goodness, Wes, he looked back and he was going to pass that ball.
Yeah. Hammond, Poteet again. Nice look. There's Johnson. Flagg got there defensively. That's a hell ball. Possession going to go to the Blue Devils. We're step aside at Cameron. 15-point lead for number 4 Duke.
Teams there below North Carolina. Louisville, Stanford, Florida State, Notre Dame, Wake Forest. How are they going to be able to move up? Because the way the net works just doesn't give them the opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting January because really you're going to get a sense of where the league is collectively as conference play unfolds. And A.J. Desai has just put. Let's see what we have here. I want to make sure I got this right.
The ball was recovered in the backcourt.
So it's a 30?
So it's a 30, not a 20. If you recover the ball in the front court, it's 20, but they recovered it in the backcourt, so it's 30.
There we go. Here's a bounce pass. Flagg caught in a double team.
How in the world did he catch that?
I'm not quite sure.
Look at this.
Right hand shot, no good. Lawal the rebound. Sion James, by the way, has got a career high 10 rebounds today. He's tied his career high to go with his 8 points.
Well, James is one of those guys who really helps you, and he helps you even if he doesn't score.
Whoa. Malawach denied Poteet, and here's Foster ahead. Oh, spin, and cannot finish. Got it on the deflection and the save and draws the foul. One more look at the rejection slip at the glass here.
Well, again, Poteet has really struggled with Malawach because he just knocks the ball away, and that allows Duke to get out and go. You know, Malawach, he slaps it off the backboard. He didn't knock it out of bounds. And
there's Caleb Foster from Harrisburg, North Carolina, now 12 of 20 at the free throw line on the year. Interesting today, John Shire spoke about a guy who he thinks can help the young guys on this team along, and young guys being not just freshmen but guys who've transferred in.
Yes.
And he talked about Caleb Foster and the value of a year ago to now paying a dividend this year.
Well, you just saw the kind of things that Caleb Foster can do. He's very good taking the ball to the basket. He handles the ball very well. Now he gets the foul there, but he's also pretty good defensively too.
Yep. So the third on Duke, and the second on the sophomore Foster, who averaged 6.5 points and shot 41% from the floor last year in conference play. He did shoot 46% from three. $17-point game. Hammond working against Evans. Now Lawal down the lane again, and he's going to draw the foul.
But I think James is going to get the foul. You know, that's one of those situations, if you're James, you just get out of the way. Malawatch is coming.
Yep.
You know, why James is trying to block that shot, I have no idea.
First on Sion James, fourth on Duke in the half. And Tobi Lawal to the line. For those of you that have followed ACC basketball a long time, it's spelled like Lawal, and the former Ghani Lawal of Georgia Tech. There's a free throw. A quick reminder to you, and I'm telling everybody, I got nothing but net. Justin Walters with Muffet McGraw, Kelly Gramlich, and of course Ivory Latta. That'll be Thursday night, 10 o'clock. Wraps up a full day of women's basketball for you on ACC Network and the ESPN app. So Lawal will go back to the line. At Virginia Commonwealth, Toby was referred to as Lawal. Brian Cox, their fine basketball sports information contact, Dan. When Toby came to Virginia Tech, they were confirming pronunciation. He said it's Lawal. So those of you who followed the Rams knew him as Tobi Lawal. He is Tobi Lawal because that's the way he prefers the pronunciation. And we're happy to oblige as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very few things is important about choosing your name.
That is common Malawatch.
And that is Cooper Flagg with another fabulous assist.
5 assists now for Flagg. Malawatch's first points of the game. 18 points. The difference now is 7:40 to go.
Flagg has 5 assists. He's got 2 steals. He's got a block shot.
Yep. In traffic, knocked away, and he picks up a turnover. Flagg resets, took it on the drive, and we get a foul on the drive from Bert Smith. That's going to get us to break. The foul on Hammond, his first 5 on the Hokies, but here's Flagg and Malawatch. The 2-hand flush here in Durham. Who Dan, do not play a conference game in this sequence here. They played the other night, beat Longwood in Dallas to kind of set the table. They've now won 7 straight games. Flagg on the lob.
They will be an interesting challenge for the Blue Devils.
Yeah.
Moody Coliseum is a very small arena, but when it gets packed, it can be very interesting. And SMU is playing really good basketball.
Sure are. Here's the drive. Burnham had it deflected. Pulled away by Sion James.
We've been talking about how well Duke has been playing defensively, and they will have to play well defensively against SMU, but they're going to have to put some points on the board because you're not going to hold down the Mustangs.
No, the Mustangs come at you in waves offensively. Proctor for James. Tyrese on the drive. Tried to scoop it, draws the foul. And it's on Rodney Brown. Another look at the baseline out of bounds here.
Well, Virginia Tech, you know, there's a lot of movement by Duke, and Virginia Tech just loses Cooper Flagg. And if you're going to lose somebody, maybe Flagg is not the guy you lose.
Yeah. 6 fouls on the Hokies. It's the second on the sophomore Rodney Brown that puts Tyrese Proctor from Sydney in New South Wales at the line. 6.5 for Proctor. He's in the double figures going to 10. I really, really like where Tyrese Proctor's career is kind of going, Dan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you made the point this morning. I mean, Proctor is one of those guys who has had a very, very solid November and December, and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah. He's 4 for 4 at the line. Hits both free throws.
He and James have been really good together. In fact,
Yeah. Yep. back on the floor. Rodney Brown with 10 to shoot.
There's just no room.
Yeah, Knueppel doing a great job. Nice help by Brown. Here's Poteet left hand. Scores. 6 now, Elijah Poteet.
It's a good thing he squeezed that off when he did, because if he didn't, Cooper Cup would have knocked it into the Flagg would have knocked it into the third row.
That's right.
I mean, Flagg, he's so active defensively. He has such good instincts.
On the drive, Knueppel and one.
Now, Knueppel handles the ball a lot for Duke, and you forget that he is 6'7" and weighs 220 pounds.
Yep.
And he can take you inside, and he can power you to the basket. He is a mismatch nightmare for a lot of teams.
Wisconsin's Mr. Basketball out of Milwaukee. Makes it a 3-point trip. By his standard, averaging 12.5. Pretty quiet night. 7 points now. Or 8 points with the free throw. After the foul on Rexsteiner a moment ago.
Well, Knueppel only 1 for 6 from beyond the arc.
There's Young. And the 3 rattled out for him. Here's Flagg. Knueppel will try one for you, Dan. Just make sure the mechanism still works.
I think he shoots the 3 better coming off screens, but in transition, when he can get his feet set, he almost never misses.
Yeah. And there's a foul. Boy, Flagg took one. Contesting.
And Wes, when you talk about somebody getting your feet set in transition, it's much easier said than done.
Yeah.
He got himself stopped before the ball came, so he's able to catch the ball and go right into a shooting motion, not having to worry about getting his feet set.
So the foul, Knueppel's second, 5th on Duke. With 5 to play. And the difference here now, Blue Devils on their way to their 7th straight and 11th overall. Lawal rattles in another 3. And a timeout taken by Virginia Tech. That is 19 for Tobi Lawal. 4:50 to go and a timeout taken here. And regardless of the outcome, the Hokies got to feel pretty good about where Lawal is. He had 23 earlier this year against Delaware State. He's got 15 in the second half and 19 in the ball game. So the Blue Devil, and we talk about the SMU game on Saturday in Dallas, and Dan, that's a quad 1 game for Duke.
Well, and, you know, the quad 1, if you play a game, if you play a team at home, then it's 1 through 30. If you play them on the road, it's 1 through 75. And so SMU is 30, so Duke is playing them on the road.
And you see, of course,
but because the ACC has struggled so much as a conference in the non-conference portion of the schedule, you see 9 of the 9 games Duke has are quad 3, and they have 1 quad 4 game. This today is a quad 4 game for Duke.
Think about it. You got a game in Dallas on Saturday, and then next week, Tuesday night, you're playing Pitt in this building. It's a pretty. You're going to jump right in it with those 2, aren't you? 4.5 to go. Here's Proctor with 10 on the shot clock, and James the catch. Double figures now for Sion James.
Well, with the way the league has struggled in the non-conference portion of the schedule, you're actually encouraged when you get to play a team like Pitt or Duke or somebody, because they're the ones who give you the most opportunity to advance. Now, they're the ones they're the hardest to beat.
Yeah, of course, the Panthers and Blue Devils. Here's Flagg after the turnover. He'll leave it. Proctor will finish. Another assist for Flagg, his 6th. 3 ball for Brown, good. Rodney Brown with 8 now. And it's 77-53. with 3.5 to go.
Hokies just never able to get anything off the ground offensively.
James the skip. Knueppel in traffic, foul. And that'll get us to the under 4 media timeout at Cameron. Duke 77-53 when we come back. See if Duke can and Virginia Tech can finish it off in Jacksonville and Charlotte respectively. Free throw by Knueppel. You looked excellent, by the way, in your glasses.
I look excellent in very few things.
Free throw by Knueppel, good on both ends. And that'll take Knueppel out of the game. And here comes Darren Harris, a freshman from Herndon, Virginia. And Ben Hammond's going to come to the floor. And Patrick Gumba is back on the deck as well for Coach Shire. So that means we're going to have all 3 Paul the 6th guys on the floor together as Jaden Young knocks down a 3. First field goal for the young man from Goldsboro, North Carolina. His 19th triple of the year. By the way, that Paul the 6th team, Dan, pretty good last year in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Out front, Evans. Sure. You bet.
Absolutely.
Showtime Slim's got 3 triples.
Well, that Paul the 6th team, they put what, 6 guys in Division I?
I think it's in that neighborhood, yes, sir. And that ball got thrown in the backcourt. And it'll go back to the Blue Devils. In fact, Will Black, our producer, terrific work. Garrett Sunders at Notre Dame, Isaiah Abram is at UConn, Ben Hammond, Darren Harris, Patrick Gumba, all Paul the 6th guys last year. How about that?
They were pretty good.
Think their crowd was any good. How's your team, coach? We got 5 guys all going to the highest level. Really? Okay. We'll take the ball first. Here's 3 ball from Gillis that bounds away. Hammond brings it front court.
Now Gillis is another guy who has not really shot as well as they expected him to shoot.
Yep. Wessler fights for space and will draw the foul, and it is on the aforementioned Patrick Gumba from Manassas.
Now Wessler is not great athletically, but he fights you in there.
Yep. Yeah, he sure does. Patrick at the line, redshirt sophomore, 2 for 3 today at the strike. He's got 4 points. First one by Wessler drops in. Don't forget, ACC PM returns on Thursday this week. Mark Packer will be there for you at 4 o'clock from the basement in Charlotte. All the latest from the ACC. Boy, a lot of news going on during the holiday break. Pack will have all that for you and more. 4 o'clock Thursday, right here on ACCN. 24-point lead now for the Blue Devils with 2 to go. Connor Serban has come in the game. And another one for Evans. 9.5, 4 triples in the pocket. Hammond, bounce pass, Wessler the catch, and 1 coming for Patrick Wessler.
And that was not an easy pass to catch. Good screen, and then he just rolls to the basket, and Gumba doesn't get back quickly enough.
Yep.
But that was not an easy catch. He had to reach down below his waist to grab that bounce pass.
So here's Wessler at 7 feet, the redshirt sophomore. Free throw bounds away. Evans the rebound. He plays with Foster, Gumba, Darren Harris, who wears number 8 for the Blue Devils, and Mason Gillis. Connor Serban, by the way, a 6'8" grad transfer from Eastern Michigan, has come into the order for Virginia Tech. First time we've seen Serban. He wears 22 for the Hokies. Here goes Isaiah Evans for the Gillis 3. Couple of threes now for Gillis. He's in double figures with 10. 70 seconds to go, and the Blue Devils on the way to 11-2 and 3-0, headed to Big D on Saturday. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech will bring Miami to Castle Coliseum on Saturday, Dan, and Miami's lost 8 of their last 9. And that will be the debut of Bill Courtney as their interim head coach. Gunba lost a handle on it. Shoot touched it last. It will stay with the Blue Devils.
Well, that's going to be a tough situation for Miami. You know, it was tough for Virginia, the coaching change with Tony Bennett when it occurred, but at least that was before the season. Now you're in the middle of the season.
Yep. Kane's hoping to get a couple guys back who've been off injured through the November-December portion. There's a look. Nice pass from Hammond. Wessler works around Gunba with a left hand. And Evans the rebound.
And Wes, again, in this era where we're so obsessed with games in November and December, if you have a couple guys injured, then that really affects you very, very much.
Yeah. Full slate of games, 4 of them tomorrow in the ACC. And then we got all 18 teams playing on Saturday. First full calendar action in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Harris draws the foul on Jaden Young. First on Darren Harris. That'll send Jaden Young to the line for 3 shots here with 11.6 to go. Tomorrow you got Miami at BC, Cal at Pitt, Stanford at Clemson, Carolina's at Louisville, and we mentioned SMU at Duke. Is the highlighted game on Saturday's calendar. Free throw by Young. His 10th conversion of the year, 4.5 now for Jaden Young, who played for the great Freddie Johnson at the Greensboro Day School, who is the state of North Carolina's all-time winningest high school coach. Wow. And the third one good. 6 for Young. And Duke will go to 11-2. The Hokies will fall to 5-8. And 0-2 in the ACC. Blue Devils are 3-0. They have beaten Virginia Tech 3 straight times. 6 players in double figures for